You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Misquoted the Declaration. Outrage mounts over Trump's July 4 speech stumble, based on an article by Kathleen Culliton. The president, the quote, and the lie. Power was the point. The source treats this as a July 4 stumble, a patriotic blunder, a social media pylon. That framing is too small. The actual fact is simpler and more corrosive. The President of the United States used a national holiday address to put a counterfeit civic quote in service of an anti-communist insult. The office gave the falsehood weight. The falsehood gave the insult ceremony. Who had the power? Trump was not a random commentator fumbling on X. He was the president speaking on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. That matters because institutional power is what turns nonsense into messaging. When he says opponents are not just wrong but alien to the nation, he is not making an argument. He is using presidential authority to define who counts as American and who does not. That is the central fact, not the embarrassment, the power. The fake quote did its work. Whether Trump mangled the Declaration out of ignorance or calculation is not the only question, and it is not even the most important one. The line he used was a forged version of civic language, made in the image of one almighty God instead of the actual equality language from the Declaration. That substitution is not neutral. It shifts the country from a political promise about rights into a theological loyalty test. That is the move. Replace a democratic founding principle with a moralized identity claim, then use it to brand opponents as communists. It is propaganda built from a broken sentence. The article's weak frame. The article leans on ridicule from conservatives, liberals, and ex-users. Fine, but mockery is not analysis. It can easily become a sideshow that flatters everyone while missing the mechanism. The issue is not that Trump stumbled. The issue is that he treats the presidency as a machine for laundering contempt into patriotism. The correction note on X did useful factual work. It also exposed how low the standard has fallen. A president can publicly misquote the Declaration, and the social response becomes a debate about education, tone, and embarrassment, rather than near the abuse of national symbolism. The real pattern. This is the same structure that keeps showing up across Trump politics. Take public institutions, empty them of accuracy, and refill them with grievance myth and loyalty language. The lie does not need to be elegant. It only needs to be delivered from a position of authority. That is why this story matters. Not because one man botched a quotation on live television, because the presidency is being used to normalize civic fraud. The fake founding quote, a fake patriotism test, and a fake distinction between national identity and partisan domination. You've been listening to Systemic Error, thanks to Ra's story for today's article, with the automated voice of Liberates. Thanks for listening.